Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Sam. I sometimes use my cat's name on the internet to play Pokemon, and today I am back for the first time in quite a long time with a video. Moreover, I'm back with a Nuzlocke, which is something I haven't done on this channel in a little while, at least a pre-recorded one. I've been away from YouTube for a while, I've been away from Pokemon a little bit for a while for various reasons, but the important thing is I am back, and today I have what I think is a really cool challenge run for you, and a little bit of a different style from my usual Nuzlocke videos and my usual videos in general, but I really hope you're going to enjoy it. So, as you can see, there are bug Pokemon on the screen. Bug Pokemon, particularly in the early generations, are considered to be probably the weakest Pokemon in the game. In the earlier generations, they had dreadful move pools, they had dreadful base stats, they had dreadful special attack and attack, and they're just pitiful Pokemon. So I decided, for a bit of fun, I would try and complete a hardcore Nuzlocke on Pokemon FireRed with only bug-type Pokemon. FireRed is the game I know the best. It's generally considered to be, on standard mode anyway, fairly comfortable to Nuzlocke if you're experienced. And I honestly, I'll be honest, I thought it was going to be fairly easy. I was wrong. I was really wrong. This is one of the hardest things I've ever done. It was so difficult. So much has to go your way to even get past the first, probably, at least certainly the mid game. You have to get a lot go your way. And yeah, I lost a lot. I lost a lot to Brock, I lost a lot to my rival, I lost a lot to Blaine, I lost a lot to the Elite Four. And what you're going to see is my best attempt. This is attempt number 47. Yes, 47. It's all on speed up. There's yeah, it was really fun. I really enjoyed doing this. I hope you're going to enjoy it. But before we jump into it completely, let's have a look at kind of why this challenge is going to be so hard. So, in Pokemon FireRed and Leaf Green, there are six bug-type Pokemon families you can use. You've got Caterpie, and obviously Metapod and Butterfree. You've got Weedle with Kakuna and Beedrill. You've got Venonat and Venomoth, Paras and Parasect, and then you've got Scyther and Pinsir. Now, I'm playing through FireRed, which means immediately Pinsir is not available. So we've only got 5 Pokemon that we can use. Before we get to Brock, you can only use Caterpie and Weedle on their evolutionary lines. Then you get Paris, then you can get Scyther in Celadon City, and then before you can only get 5 Pokemon after the 4th gym. So it's pretty hard. There are, I mean, but that's just the way we're going to play, right? That's part of the fun of the challenge. That's why we're doing the challenge, because we want it to be hard. But like I said, I really found this tough. I found this super hard. Now, I decided to play on Hardcore Nuzlocke rules because I think that's just the best way to do it. So, if you're not sure what they are, we're going to go over them now. If you already know what they are, you can kind of skip forward. I'll put a timestamp on the video now so you can move forward and just get right in with the challenge. So the first Nuzlocke rule that we need to touch on is the fact that you can only catch the first Pokemon you encounter on each route or area. Now obviously in this playthrough we are only using bug-type Pokemon, so it's only the first bug-type Pokemon found on each route. If I kill that Pokemon or I don't catch that Pokemon, the route is already spent and we have to move on. Secondly, if a Pokemon faints, it is dead and it can no longer be used. It has to be released or placed into the PC and never used again. No items can be used in battle, so no potions, no X items or anything like that. Only held items will be allowed, although to be honest there aren't many that are that useful for this particular challenge. The game mode is on set, which means we cannot switch after we take a KO from the opponent. Really, this is the mode I think if you want to play decent Nuzlocke, that's what you want to have on. And finally, Species Clause is active, so if I lose one of my bugs, I can't just catch another one. If Weedle dies, I can't catch another Weedle. If Beedrill dies, I can't catch another Weedle or Kakuna or anything like that. So it's going to be pretty tough. I will have to use a couple of Pokemon along the way for HMs, but other than that, it's going to be pretty good. So if you're all strapped in and you're all ready, let's crack on with the challenge. So, as you can see, we start off in Pallet Town, of course, where Professor Oak stops us from leaving the town and asks us to come and collect a Pokemon from him and start off on our adventure and then eventually collect all the Pokemon in the world, blah blah. Now, Professor Oak is rude and doesn't have a bug-type Pokemon, so I picked Bulbasaur, meaning that Charmander is our rival's Pokemon, so his ace will always be a Fire-type, because, like I said, we want to make this run as hard as possible. So I skipped the next bit for you until we finally have some Pokeballs, and I head on up to route number 2 to catch our first Pokemon, which is this female Weedle. Like I said in the intro, Weedle and Caterpie are the only Pokemon that you can get before Brock. Managed to catch this Weedle on the first attempt, which is fantastic, and give it the nickname Baguette. Baguette, because I am a comedic genius and it kind of sounds like baguette. So yeah, Cool. Anyway, then Baguette and I head on into Viridian Forest, pick up our next Pokemon, this Caterpie, who we name Bugsy after the Johto gym leader, and that is it. We evolve them into Beedrill and into Butterfree, respectively. We take on our rival for some experience and begin the long, long grind to level 14 and a bit, so that we can take on Brock. As you can see, we don't really struggle with the rival too much. Although Charmander's Ember can do like a lot of damage, even though we're fully evolved, just because it's super effective. Like it can do some serious damage. Anyway, we get a critical hit, so it's no bother for Bugsy. We take on some of the trainers in Viridian Forest, and none of them are really a problem, but it's a slow grind. Because we need to get up to level 14, and we also need to like edge ourselves from there. If you don't know what edging is basically where you level up to just below the next level. So for example, in a run like this, you can see on screen the level cap is 14. What I want to make sure I can do is get the Butterfree to level 14 and just below the required amount of experience to level up, so that once we KO the first Pokemon in the gym battle, as you're about to see, we level up to 15, because it's the only way you can win. Like I said, I took on Brock so many times in this challenge, and I lost so many times. If you don't edge right, you don't get up to level 15. If you don't get up to level 15, you don't get Sleep Powder. If you don't get Sleep Powder, it's really, really tough to win without losing a Pokemon. So I managed to put the Onix to sleep, hit a Confusion, and I managed to hit a second Confusion, get a critical hit, and it takes it down. Normally in this battle, if you're not so lucky, and you don't have Sleep Powder, the Butterfree just can't survive, and if you don't poison the Onix in time, it's hard to do enough damage to it. It just becomes a whole thing. Anyway, we take on the trainers in the next route, head into Mount Moon, and we capture our next Pokemon, this Paris. Because it's Generation 3, I can put Grass Pokemon to sleep, we do a little tackle, we do a little dance, and we catch our Paris, and we name Paris Bugler. We carry on through Mount Moon. I skip a lot of this for you because it's going to be a long video. But we take on some of the more difficult trainers, leveling up and training as we go, including the Super Nerd with the Grimer and the Voltorb and the Coughing and everything. And we manage to beat him, pick up our fossil, and we're already into the next town. So once we get to Cerulean City, of course, we go and heal up in the Pokemon Center. There are no new encounters we can get at this stage. So I just grind everyone up to level 19 to make sure that we're a high enough level to take on the rival and do the bridge, but not over level the gym leader. First up is the Pidgeotto. Again, missing the Sleep Powder here can kind of really damage the whole run. It's not end all, it's like not be all end all, but we get a bit lucky with Confusion. We take down the Pidgeotto, and that's that. Next up is the Charmander, put that to sleep as well. So Butterfree has the ability Compound Eyes. If you don't know what Compound Eyes is, it basically increases the accuracy, which makes Sleep Powder like a really high percentage to land. If it didn't have Compound Eyes, we'd basically just lose the run immediately, because you need the Sleep Powders to hit so often. We take down the Charmander using a variety of Pokemon and decent switches. Eventually Bugler also takes down the Abra. And finally, he switches into his Rattata, which thankfully, even though it crits, we managed to take it down without too much trouble. And yeah, rival fight is done, and we're able to move on with the challenge. Heading up to Bill's house, he does some funky stuff with his I mean, let's be honest, the guy's a freak, man. I don't know what he's doing up here, but whew, it's weird. Anywho, we deal with that, and we head on to the second gym battle of the run, which is Misty. Misty, the water-type trainer with the also psychic-type Pokemon. So, Bugler leads off with a Bullet Seed, hits 3 times, which is decent damage, and it also means that we trigger Misty's Potion, which is really important. We get hit with a Water Pulse, avoid the confusion, take out the Staryu. Now, I know that Starmie can't one-hit us, even with a crit, so I decide to go for a Bullet Seed. We don't get crit, so I go for a second Bullet Seed. A bit of a risk here, but we nearly KO the Pokemon, which is really good. Then I switch into Bugsy, go for a Sleep Powder. We get hit with a Water Pulse. Now, I'm not really sure what I was doing here. I switched into Beedrill for some reason. I'm not really sure why, because it kind of could have been a throw. But anyway, we managed to take down Misty, beat her Starmie, and we've got 2 badges, and we're looking pretty good. We retrieved the Dig TM, which is really nice. I kind of thought it was going to come in really super handy for Surge, but well, you'll see. Anyway, we take on our rival again on the SS Anne, and we managed to beat him, not without its difficulties. Like I said, like Charmeleon hits really hard. Then Beedrill is able to sweep the rest of the team once we deal with the Charmeleon. So for those of you paying attention, that means next up is Lieutenant Surge. We evolve Paris into Parasect, and I'll be honest, I was pretty worried about this battle actually. I didn't know how it was going to go. In the end, turns out didn't really need to. In a huge surprise, we sleep powder the Voltorb, hit it with the confusion, do a nice little bit of damage and confuse it. It wakes up, it uses Shockwave, which does a bit too much damage for my liking. He gets off a super potion, but we're still in pretty good shape. Get another sleep powder, Voltorb sleeps a turn. I decide to switch at that point into Baguette, use a focus energy to try and up our crit rate and hope we can do the job from there. Voltorb hurts itself in confusion, Twin Needle takes it out. Next up is the Pikachu. I decided to go for Twin Needle. I was thinking about possibly using Secret Power because I didn't want to risk a double static chance. We miss a Twin Needle and we get paralyzed, and it looks like all hope is lost. But actually all hope is well, it's fine. And Surge is down, and we feel pretty good about ourselves. Now, we carry on along this route towards the rock tunnel, taking on trainers as we go. However, I did nearly lose Bugsy at this point, which was pretty bad. So, but yeah, you know, that's okay. We managed to get through. We carry on through rock tunnel, taking on Geodude after Geodude after Geodude after Graveler after Geodude, and lots of repels and boredom later. We finally, eventually make it out and can head towards Celadon City to finally get our next Pokemon. I stealthily sneak around these trainers like a stealthy spy. So, very stealthy. Anywho, eventually we get the coin case. I get enough money just about to get myself a Scyther, purchase it, and I call it Bugly because once again my comedic genius shines. Bugly, ugly. Funny guy. Anywho, Bugly is fantastic, even though it doesn't have Technician, which is pretty annoying. But yeah, we managed to sweep through all the trainers in the gym, and it's gym battle number 4. On to Erica. This is not a struggle. I'm not gonna lie, this is just not a struggle. Bugly, he just literally sweeps everybody, which you would expect. I mean, he's a part flying type Pokemon. He just, you know. He is one bugly but anyway, we finished the gym, and we move on to the next stage of our adventure, which is Nuzlcoke. Now, as I said to you in the kind of prelim thing, this is one of the other spots where I lost a couple of I definitely lost 2, maybe more runs here against Giovanni, but the rockets themselves are no problem. Like, all the poison Pokemon just go down to Bugsy's confusion pretty easily. Luckily, I don't know, I must have had a decent special attack IV, I'm not sure, but it kind of swept through everyone. Anyway, eventually we took on Giovanni. Giovanni leads off with Onix. Bugler deals with Onix without too much difficulty whatsoever. Next up, he sends in Rhydon, who obviously we also, or Rhyhorn, sorry, who we obviously deal with no, like, difficulty. Then, here is the problem. Kangaskhan is the problem. It has the early bird, or whatever it's called, ability, so it wakes up a lot quicker than other Pokemon, and it deals a lot of damage with Mega Punch. Like, a lot of damage. So I chance it here and go for a Spore. I know I can still just about survive 1 Mega Punch, so I managed to get it to sleep again, but now I need to switch. I go into Bugsy to try and keep putting this thing back to sleep, because it can literally wake up at any moment. And it's genuinely, this is a tough battle. Like, trying to kind of double chance when it might fall asleep, when it will wake up. Like, there you go, see, first turn wake up. It's just a pain. It's such a pain that you have to, it's just luck. Honestly, it's luck. And we managed to take it out without losing any Pokemon in this run. And this is, I think this was the first time or the second time I got past Giovanni without any losses, which is why I kind of knew it was going to maybe be the best run. So next up is our rival inside Nuzlcoke. This is a pretty trivial battle because our level cap has gone up so high and he's so weak at this point that we just really like sweep through. Nothing gives us too much difficulty. Like, even the Charmeleon at this point isn't really too much of a problem until it crits an Ember, and we nearly lose Baguette. But then thankfully I go into Bugsy, and I manage to take it out without kind of losing anyone, which is really good. And then next up is the Gyarados. Gyarados has got Thrash. Thrash is not doing enough damage to really trouble us, so a couple of wing attacks takes it down, and we move through the Ghosty Tower, save the Strange Bald Man, who gives us his Strange Bald Man flute to play, and then we go and play with the Snorlax. Snorlax, he's had a nice little kip. We decide, get up, buddy, we gotta go past you. A few brick breaks from Baguette do enough to Snorlax, and it decides to go for 2 snores, even though it's awake. What a silly Snorlax. Next up, our 5th and final friend on this little journey, Venonat, the insect Pokemon, and we call him Buggo, because I'll be honest, I'm running out of ideas. Buggo evolves into Venomoth, and we run down this route for the first time. We head into the Safari Zone to go and pick up Surf and the Gold Teeth and all that good stuff. And we eventually managed to, because, yeah, I mean, we literally ran around. I kept accidentally pressing Pokeballs, so I had this on, like, super speed up. And it kind of made me feel a bit ill for a while, but we managed to get through. We run down this route again, for not the last time, I'll be honest with you. And then we head to Nuzlcoke, because that's the next stage of our journey. Now, this rival fight is the one I think I lost the most of any fight in this stupid run, other than maybe Brock, before I realised about, like, I should be edging my Butterfree. This was hard. Like, I lost to his stupid Charizard so many times. Anyway, Pidgeot goes to sleep. We hit a Psybeam. Pidgeot sleeps again. We hit another Psybeam. Pidgeot sleeps again. We hit another Psybeam. It becomes confused. He uses Feather Dance for some unknown reason. Pidgeot down. Next up, Charizard. Charizard goes to sleep. That's good. We Psybeam. Charizard sleeps some more. Psybeam again. Sleeps some more. Psybeam again. Sleeps some more. Becomes confused. This time round, it's going to wake up and it needs to not hit us. Like, this is the only time I made it past this fight without losing someone, because the Charizard just one-shots everything. Put the Execute to sleep. Switch in to Baguette. Baguette deals nicely with the Execute, as you would expect. And next up is Alakazam. He goes for Future Sight. If it goes for Psychic, we lose Baguette. Again, just can't be helped. Nothing I can do to help it. This time he goes for Future Sight. I go for Focus Energy. We get hit with a Leer. That's no real problem, because Secret Power does plenty of damage. Gyarados is paralysed, thankfully. We would have survived anyway, because weirdly his Gyarados just isn't that strong. Anyway, just to make sure, like 100%, I decide to go into Bugler, hit it with a return, and Rival Josh is down. If you're wondering why the rival's called Josh, by the way, Josh is my brother, and he likes to make my life miserable, so I figured it's a fitting name. Next up, this Giovanni fight. This Giovanni fight is actually really simple. I never lost it once. I mean, it generally helps that he's got Poison-type Pokemon now, and I could teach Giga Drain to the Venomoth, because it means Venomoth can go through most of these Pokemon without an issue. We're also able to Stun Spore the Kangaskhan rather than put it to sleep, which just buys us a little bit extra kind of, little bit of an extra chance to deal with it, because it does get paralysed, you know, a few times, and we're faster. So, as you can see, Mega Punch does a lot of damage, but I'm able to get a Sword Stance off with Bugly and hit this thing with a Wing Attack, which does loads of damage. It gets paralysed, and we take it out. Finally, we're up against the Nidoqueen. We hit a Wing Attack, get poisoned. Its only attacking moves are Double Kick and like Poison Sting, so we're definitely safe. And it is done. We take on Giovanni. He is down. And we're on to the next badge. Badge number 5 is Sabrina, and I go for the good old trusty Baguette, who knows Twin Needle. Twin Needle deals well with Kadabra, deals well with Mr. Mime, and then Alakazam is always using Psychic here because it definitely KOs. So I switch into Bugler, who takes the Future Sight attack and nearly friggin' dies, but he just about survives. So that's good. Anyway, now I'm in trouble. Now I figure I'm going to lose someone. It goes for the Future Sight again, which is really lucky. Psychic doesn't kill Bugly, but obviously we are in a bit of trouble. Sabrina goes to the Hyper Potion. Future Sight fails, which is fantastic, and it goes to the Calm Mind, which is what I was waiting for. So we get to put Alakazam to sleep, and we can go back into Baguette and start dealing some damage. This time round, I have to risk the Twin Needle. It goes for the Future Sight, not the Psychic, which is an absolute, genuinely, like, it's pure luck that has happened. It is absolute luck, I'm not going to lie. Otherwise, I lose Baguette. I'd probably still win the battle, but I definitely would have lost Baguette. So, there we go. Bugsy gets the Sleep Powder off, takes the Future Sight attack, and nearly dies. Jesus friggin' Christ, we're nearly dying all over the place here. But we're always going to have too much for that Venomoth, and so we get our 5th badge from Sabrina. Whew, we run down this route again, and guess what? Not for the last time. And we take on some jugglers in Koga's gym. Koga's gym, another one I was genuinely really worried about. Like, I didn't know how we were going to do it exactly. Turns out, didn't really need to worry. Coughing comes out. We use Psybeam, and Coughing dies. Next comes out Muck. We use Psybeam, and, we use Sleep Powder, then we use Psybeam. And, well, a couple of Psybeams, and guess what happens? I'll give you a clue. It's pretty hard to work out. Okay, so we use a couple of Psybeams, and then nearly any time now, just a few more Psybeams, and then and any time now, any minute now. Alright, we use a Giga Drain and it dies. Anywho, on with the show. Coughing, Psybeam, you know the rest. Bye. Coughing. Next up, Wheezing. nice little sleep powder, and turns out really didn't need to bother the sleep powder because Psybeam just doing so much to Weezing. We have our 6th badge, and we are on to the oh yeah, this route again. Awesome, great. Yeah, run down this route another time. I go for a nice little surf with the Lapras we got from Nuzlcoke. Yeah, and we surf down to Cinnabar Island. I always used to call it Blaine's Island. I guess, I mean, because it kind of is Blaine's Island. We run around the Pokemon Mansion, pick ourselves up a secret key, let ourselves into Cinnabar Gym, answer some questions. We know that Caterpie evolves into Metapod because we are Bug-type Pokemon trainer, and we are clever, you know, so we know that. And we take on Blaine. Now, this is by far the hardest battle. I lost this so many times. Like, I had to restart this run so many times because of this fight, until I eventually found the way to do it, which is put the Growlithe to sleep, hope it misses a Fire Blast. 1 Fire Blast we survive, and once we've got 2 Swords Dance up, we can one-shot everything. So basically it comes down to either Growlithe needs to sleep for 2 turns, or 1 turn and miss a Fire Blast, and once that happens, we deal with everything pretty simply. Blaine down! Off to the islands. Bill. Hello, Bill. Thanks for taking us away from the adventure for no good reason. We save a child, and in return he gives us a stone. We head back. Thanks, Bill. Thanks very much, buddy. And here we are. We're in the final gym. We run through the trainers, and this is it. Can we get our 8th badge? Will it be difficult? No. No, it won't. 1 down. 2 down. Boring. Literally, tell me someone why the final friggin' gym leader of the whole thing, the final gym leader is literally atrocious. Like, he's got, yeah, alright, he's got Nidoking and Nidoqueen or whatever, but like, he's so bad. Like, he's just so bad. You can just literally, like, I'm using bugs and they just, everything dies to Giga Drains and psychic moves, and like, it's, I don't know how you would ever even struggle with this. Like, if you've got Earthquake on one of your Pokemon, I know obviously he gives you the TM, but like, you just, anyway, whatever. Like, basically having a water attack means you can sweep through the last 2 gyms without anything, but I don't have one of those, so whatever. Anyway, Giovanni goes away now, and I decide I'm going to try and teach some strong moves to my Pokemon, but I can't. Because none of my Pokemon can learn strong moves. Anyway, whatever, doesn't really matter. We run out of here, and we take on our rival. This is another tough fight, but it's slightly less tough than the other ones because I'm at a higher level, which means I can outspeed his bigger threat Pokemon. We take out the Pidgeot fairly comfortably. Then in comes the Rhyhorn. We manage to put the Rhyhorn to sleep. Switch into Buggo, who is able to take it out with 1 Giga Drain. And again, like I say, so like normally the Charizard or the Alakazam come in, and we're in like big trouble because we can't deal with them before they deal with us. But at this stage, we are just about able to take their attacks. Bugler just about survives and hits Alakazam with a Spore and then a return, and then I decide to go for a switch because it's just a little bit safer. And I can set up a Swords Dance on this Alakazam because it definitely can't one-shot Bugly. We set up 2 Swords Dances because this thing keeps staying asleep. We outspeed and KO it with the Wing Attack. Next up is Charizard. We outspeed the Charizard now, like I was saying. So that goes down. The Execute goes down as well. And finally is Gyarados, but we're still at +3 attack, so that goes down too. Finally, we're able to move on to the Victory Road. Victory Road is the final boring stretch of our journey, but I found out on this run that actually you can do Victory Road without taking on a single trainer. Never knew that before. Pretty handy to know. Victory Road out the way. The boring maze navigated. The boring grinding done. Everyone at level 60. That's the level of Lance's Dragonite, and it's time to take on these final trainers. Let's see how we do. First up is Lorelei, the Ice-type trainer. So, she leads off with Dugong, we lead off with Buggo, and you're going to see a lot of this. You're going to see a lot of sleep power and stuff go on. We hit a Giga Drain, doesn't quite do half the health. We hit another one, Dugong's still asleep, which means we know it's going to use she's going to use a full restore on the Dugong. She does. We hit another Sleep Powder. This time I decide it's switched into Bugly. We get 1 Swords Dance off. Dugong wakes up and goes for a Hail. I'm pretty safe against the Dugong. An Ice Beam is never going to knock me out without a crit. And I learned from several attempts at this Elite Four that I need to risk a crit quite often. So next up is the Slowbro. We are at +4 attack, so the Slowbro goes down. Next up is the Jinx. We outspeed and +4 attack, Wing Attack KOs that too. Finally or not finally, but next up is the Lapras. The Lapras does not go down to a +4 wing attack. It hits a Surf onto Buggo. We put it asleep again. And start Giga Draining this thing to try and get some of our health back and do some damage to it. So 2 Giga Drains puts it within KO range. It hits an Ice Beam, but the Citrus Berry heals it up just above KO range. It hits a Surf. Now, again, assuming that she's going to use a full restore, we go for a Sleep Powder. And it's back to that same old game again, hitting Giga Drains as often as we can, only knowing this time that we can definitely KO it with 3 Giga Drains because she's not got a berry and she's not going to use another full restore. Finally was the Cloyster. Cloyster is a tough one because it can do a lot of damage if it lands its attack, but thankfully, to be honest, its special defense is absolutely rubbish. So I switch into Bugler, even though we can definitely take one ice type attack from it, but I just wanted to make sure that we were going to be safe. So I switch into Bugler, put Cloyster to sleep, and then nail it with a Giga Drain, and this is pretty much enough to take it out, minus a tiny bit of health. So we hit it with a return, and the first Elite Four member is down. Next up is Bruno. Now, Bruno is obviously a lot easier for me to deal with. Onyx Iron tells us we Giga Drain back, take it out in one shot. Next up is Hitmonchan. To be honest, it just can't do anything to Bugler. Like, it just doesn't do anything to Bugler whatsoever. So, Spore, and a return, and a second return, and Hitmonchan is down, which is awesome. Next up is Machamp. Machamp is more of a threat, so I Spore the Machamp and then switch into Bugly. And you guessed it, we're going to Swords Dance. Swords Dance with Bugly once. Machamp stays asleep, but we're not risking it using a Rock Attack, so I Wing Attack again. The Citrus Berry brings it back out of KO range, but yeah, at this point we're mighty fine. So next up is the Hitmonlee, and this is no real trouble for us. However, knowing that after the Hitmonlee comes the Onyx, I have to switch into Bugler, and we nearly lose Bugler here. But if I stay in on the Hitmonlee with Scyther, KO the Hitmonlee with Scyther, then that baits obviously brings in the Onyx next, and if the Onyx comes in next, then something dies, basically, because everything's weak to Rock-type moves, and we will get hit with a Rock-type move on the switch, and Scyther can't one-hit KO the Onyx. So, yeah, we have to go about it this way. We take out the Hitmonlee with no problem, and, yeah, Buggo uses a Sleep Powder, and then follows that up with Giga Drain, and that is enough to deal with the Onyx, and enough to beat our second member of the Elite Four, which is awesome. Whew, breathe. On to Agatha. She tells us something about Oak. You know, I think her and Oak had a bit of a thing in the past, and you know what? Good for them. Buggo Psychics the Gengar, brings it down. Next up is the Golbat. Golbat gets put to sleep with a Sleep Powder, and then we Psychic that as well. And that nearly KOs it in one go, actually. But not quite, so we Psychic again, and that's a second Psychic plus a Leech Life is enough to bring the Golbat down. Next up is the Haunter. We outspeed the Haunter, we hit it with a Psychic, and that's Haunter down. Next up is Gengar. Gengar misses Hypnosis. We hit Sleep Powder, then we go for a Psychic. That brings the Gengar down real low, lowers its special defense. It then wakes up, and Hypnosis is us. So we stay asleep. This time he Shadow Balls us, not doing very much. Shadow Balls us again, not doing very much, but now we're in trouble. Oh no, we're not. We wake up, KO it, and the final Pokemon is this Arbok. Arbok intimidates us. No bother for us, apart from when we miss a Sleep Powder, we nearly lose Buggo, and oh my god. This is what I was saying to you at the start, right? This run required luck, and some of these rolls, well, there's some good luck, I'll tell you that for sure. We beat Agatha, on to Lance. Final Elite Four member before the champion. He leads off with Gyarados. We lead off with Bugsy, put Gyarados to sleep. Now, again, this is where I lost a lot. I lost to Lance quite a few times. I set up a double team with Bugly. Luckily, Gyarados still asleep, so I set up a second double team with Bugly. Still asleep, so I set up a third. This is really, really important. It hits us with the first Dragon Rage. We Swords Dance. He misses the next Dragon Rage. We Swords Dance again. And now we are +6, which means we can KO everything on his team. We double team again. Even though we can KO the Gyarados at this point, there's a reason we are double teaming again. And that will become clear in just a moment. So now we are at max evasion. We are at max attack. We take out the Gyarados. Next up is the Dragonite. We always take that out as well, it's no problem. And here is where the issue comes. This is why we needed +6 evasion. It all comes down to this. It misses the Ancient Power, and then we KO the Aerodactyl. I can never ever be faster than Aerodactyl, and that's why we need the evasion. Evasion is not a suitable method of trying to guarantee a Nuzlocke win. But there we go. Finally, the champion. He leads off with Pidgeot. We lead off with Buggo. Put Pidgeot to sleep. And then we start psychicking, and the beautiful thing about facing the champion is that we are no longer bound by having to keep everyone alive. Alakazam comes out next. It goes for a future sight. We miss a sleep powder. It goes for a second future sight, which is so lucky because a psychic would have almost certainly KO'd us. But we get lucky. Bugler comes in. Bugler takes future sight. Deals with it pretty well. We hit a return onto Alakazam, which does a decent chunk of damage. Alakazam's still asleep. We take it out. That's 2 Pokemon down, and we're feeling okay. Bit nervous, but we're feeling okay. Next up is Rhydon. Now, if Rhydon misses his Rock Tomb, we KO with Giga Drain, but it doesn't, and I'm sorry to say, Bugler does not make it. Thank you for your service, Bugler. You have been amazing. Thank you so much. Whew. Next up, Buggo comes in. Sleep Powder the Rhydon. Giga Drain the Rhydon. Rhydon goes down. Next up is Charizard. Here's the big problem. Here is the big problem. Yeah, Buggette goes down to the Fire Blast. I'm just killing time here until we can either outspeed it, if we're lucky, or it misses a Fire Blast. So now Bugsy's down as well. And now we're in squeaky bum time. If it hits the next Fire Blast, we lose. But it misses the Fire Blast. So, Sleep Powder comes off. We go for Psychic. We're just trying to bait out his Fire Blast PP. Once the Fire Blast PP is done, we can beat this thing with a bit of luck. He misses another Fire Blast, and we predicted it, and we hit Sleep Powder. And now the Charizard is nearly down. He uses a full restore. We hit a Psychic. Now it's the last time for us to try and hit this Sleep Powder. It misses the Fire Blast again. Sleep Powder lands. We go for another Psychic, and Charizard is down, which means we can actually do this. This is now possible if the last couple of things go our way. Executor goes to sleep. Switch out to Bugly. We just need this little bit. We Swords Dance once. Double our attack. We Swords Dance again, and we get put to sleep. And now it comes down to how fast we can wake up. 1 turn of sleep, misses an Egg Bomb. 2 turns of sleep, lands an Egg Bomb. 3 turns of sleep, misses an Egg Bomb. 4 turns of sleep, lands an Egg Bomb. We hit him with the wing attack, and Executor's down, and now Gyarados, we're at +3. Gyarados hits a Thrash, and we just survive, and we've done it. We are the champion. The champion. We have done it with bugs in 47 attempts with so much luck and nearly driving myself insane and tearing my hair up. We have done it. We are the champion of Kanto with just bug Pokemon, plus a little help from Lapras. There we go. Buggo, Bugly, Buggette, Bugler, and of course Bugsy. Thank you very much for your help, my friends. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I really also hope that you kind of enjoyed this different format of video. If you did, please let me know, and let me know like what other challenges, what other videos you want to see me do in the future, because I'd love to do some more stuff like this on like fun challenge runs or different versions of the game. So yeah, let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you've made it this far as well, because it really helps me out, and I appreciate it. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.